Today, we're diving into a really profound story from the Buganda people of Uganda, the myth of Kintu and Nambi. And trust me, it's so much more than just an origin story. It's a tale about freedom, about consequences, and really about what it means to be human.
And the whole thing really hinges on this one powerful question. Can a single, tiny, completely understandable mistake, an act you or I might make, end up changing the entire world forever?
So, let's set the scene. In the very beginning, you have Kintu, the first man all alone on Earth. And then, from the sky world, a place where there's no such thing as death, comes Nambi. She's the daughter of the sky god Gulu. And when she sees Kintu, she just knows he's the one.
But you know how it goes. Her father, Gulu, isn't quite sold on this idea, so he puts Kintu through a series of what seem like impossible tests. But here's a really important detail. Kintu doesn't do it alone. He gets through it with the help of his entire community. His strength, right from the start, is tied to his connection with others.
So Gulu finally agrees, but he gives them one single condition for their new life together on Earth. It's not a long, complicated list of rules. It's just one simple, crystal clear instruction. Do not turn back, no matter what. That was it. That was the one thing that would protect their perfect future.
Okay, so the stage is set. They have one simple rule. And now we get to the moment where everything, and I mean everything, completely changes. This is all about the Forgotten Green's consequence. Picture them on their journey down to Earth. They're so close, they're almost there. And then it hits her. Nambi remembers the millet, the grain she forgot to pack for her chickens. It's such a human moment, right? Just this ordinary act of caring for the little creatures that depend on her. And just look at the unbelievable imbalance here. This is the heart of the story. On one side, you have a mistake so small it could fit in the palm of your hand, a handful of forgotten millet. And on the other, the consequence is all of mortal suffering entering the world. Kintu even reminds her, hey, what about the rule? But Nambi just has to go back. She can't let her chickens starve.
So she turns around, and waiting there at the edge of the path is her brother, Walumbe. And his name literally means suffering or disease, but he doesn't attack her. He doesn't yell. He just falls in step beside her, like family does, and walks with them the rest of the way down to Earth. So, suffering has arrived. What are we supposed to make of that? Well, the myth suggests this isn't just some random tragedy. It's actually a deep lesson about what freedom really is and what it needs to survive. It's about a condition for freedom. And this is a really crucial insight. That one rule from Gulu, it wasn't about limiting their freedom. Not at all. It was the very thing, the very structure that was designed to protect their freedom and make it last. It was a shield against the one specific danger that he knew was always there. Think about it. That journey from the sky world to Earth was a threshold. It was their most vulnerable moment. And the rule, do not turn back, was a very precise shield against a very precise danger, Walumbe, following them. The second they reversed direction, that shield was just gone. Now this brings us to Walumbe himself, because the way this myth frames the idea of suffering is, well, it's pretty radical. It's not what you might expect. It's about suffering the unwanted brother. So, just to be super clear, Walumbe is the embodiment of everything we fear: suffering, sickness, and death. He is that heavy weight that every living thing eventually has to carry. And here it is. This might be the most powerful and challenging idea in the entire story. Walumbe is not some foreign enemy you can just defeat in battle. He's family. He's Nambi's brother. Suffering isn't an outside invader. It's an intimate relative who came along because of an act of love and care. Of course, Gulu tries to fix it. He sends another one of his sons, Kaimba, on a mission to hunt Walumbe down, to try and kick suffering out of the world and get things back to that perfect, original paradise. But Kaimba never catches him. And here's the kicker. The tradition says he is still hunting today. Think about that. The project of trying to completely eliminate suffering is endless. It never quite succeeds, and we have to build our lives in that gap. So, what does this endless hunt mean for us right now? Well, it gets to the very core of our own lives, of what it means to be navigating inherited conditions, to live in a world where the consequences of things that happened long ago are already here. You know, you and I, we didn't forget the grain. That mistake was made long before we ever showed up.
We inherit a world where Walumbe, where suffering, is already walking alongside us. It's a companion on our journey, whether we chose it or not. That's just the starting point. So if that's the case, where do we find our meaning? Where do we find our dignity? The myth gives us this incredibly powerful answer. It says that true dignity isn't found in finally creating a perfect, suffering-free world. The dignity is in the continuing. It's in the simple, profound act of keep going, of building and loving and living anyway.
And that leads us to the final, beautiful takeaway from this entire story. It's all about action. It's about what we do in a world that we know, for a fact, contains suffering. It's about planting grain anyway.
The whole point of being human, according to this myth, isn't to finally catch Walumbe. It's not to erase suffering from the map. The real project, our life's work, is to build our communities, to love each other, and to plant our grain, not in some imaginary perfect world, but right here, in the very presence of suffering. And that is the heart of resilience. Kintu and Nambi and every generation after them, they planted their grain in the soil where they knew death had already arrived. And they have kept planting it every single season, ever since. That isn't giving up. That's the most honest work there is.
So, in the end, the myth doesn't give us a neat little answer wrapped in a bow. Instead, it leaves us with a question that echoes right into our own lives. Knowing everything you know, that the world is imperfect, that suffering is a companion, what grain will you plant anyway?